Have you ever wondered why the Silicon Valley tycoons, standing at the very top of the world, with seemingly limitless wealth, have suddenly become obsessed in recent years with two things? One is getting you to put on a headset and enter the metaverse. The other is inserting a tiny chip into your brain. Do you think it's just so you can attend meetings in a virtual world, play games, or help treat disabilities? Wake up. This isn't technological evolution at all. It's a cross-dimensional body replacement project. At the core of these tech giants are actually cold-blooded predatory reptilians that have been lurking on Earth for thousands of years. They are now facing a fatal biological dilemma. Although they possess technology far beyond that of humanity, their true forms are extremely ill-suited to the environment and ultraviolet radiation on Earth's surface. In order to avoid revealing their true identities to the humans around them, they have to expend enormous amounts of energy to maintain a thick and fragile human shell, one that constantly requires high-frequency holographic projection to sustain the disguise. Now the reptilians are tired. They no longer want this false filter. What they want now is a real, original, vibrant carbon-based body. So a dark plan of almost genius was born. First, create a virtual paradise through the metaverse, one that is more beautiful and more addictive than reality itself. Then use brain-computer interfaces to package, compress, and upload human consciousness to cloud servers as if it were data. While humans celebrate the idea that they have achieved digital immortality in this virtual world, the warm, healthy, perfect physical body you leave behind in the real world becomes nothing more than an empty property. At that point, the reptilians, who once hid in underground shadows while enduring the strain of holographic disguises, can effortlessly take over your physical body. They would finally walk the surface of this planet as its legitimate new masters, possessing real, tangible forms. This is the ultimate truth of the metaverse. It is not a paradise for humanity. It is a prison for the human soul and a transfer station for reptilians to seize human bodies. Have you noticed that in recent years, a highly unusual trend has suddenly swept through mainstream discourse? From science fiction blockbusters to technology headlines, there has been a relentless effort to instill an extremely dangerous idea into the public mind. They claim that the human body is fragile, filled with suffering, and destined to decay, and that only by uploading consciousness to the cloud can people achieve eternal freedom. It sounds strikingly similar to a modern religion dressed in the clothing of technology. This is the first phase of the cognitive warfare launched by the reptilian elite hidden at the top of Silicon Valley. Open your phone and the algorithms will deliberately filter out the warm, authentic moments of real life. Instead, they amplify the boredom, pain, and poverty of the real world. Workplace competition, the pressure of daily life, the complexity of human relationships, and the widening gap between rich and poor. All negative emotions are magnified endlessly, gradually creating a powerful illusion. The real world feels unbearable. The human body begins to seem like a burden. It needs food, rest, and must endure all kinds of suffering. And slowly the idea takes root that only consciousness, only the virtual world can offer true freedom and eternity. At the same time, the algorithms will precisely push images of the beauty of the virtual world to you. In that world, you can have anything you want: mansions, luxury cars, wealth, and power. You can possess everything you have ever desired. You can even gain superpowers and become a hero who saves the world. This idea of abandoning the physical body is quietly seeping into every corner of our lives. Open any social platform and you will see statements everywhere, such as "the body is the shackle of the soul," or "only by escaping the body can we achieve true freedom." At various product launches and conferences, tech giants repeatedly emphasize the eternity of consciousness. They claim that the metaverse and brain-computer interfaces represent the next direction of human evolution and are the ultimate solution for liberating the body. Even some so-called experts and scholars openly promote transhumanism, arguing that humanity should actively abandon the physical body and allow consciousness to enter the digital world in order to achieve immortality. We think this represents progress in human thought. In reality, it is exactly the outcome the reptilians want. Through algorithms, they slowly weaken our identification with the physical body. Step by step, they cultivate our dependence on the virtual world. Bit by bit, they implant the false belief that the body is useless. Because only when humans willingly abandon their bodies can the reptilians effortlessly take over our shells and complete this 1,000-year-long conspiracy of body seizure. Some people may ask, if they are reptilians and possess technology far beyond that of humanity, why not simply launch a direct attack on humans? Why go to such lengths to manipulate and guide us instead? The answer is actually simple. The number of reptilians on Earth is limited, while the human population is enormous. They cannot rely on force to fully conquer humanity. More importantly, the human body has unique biological characteristics. Only when a human voluntarily relinquishes consciousness, when the body enters a state of brain death but physical life, can it perfectly match with reptilian consciousness. If reptilians tried to seize human bodies by force, the bodies would be damaged and become unusable. When people hear the term body seizure, many think of scenes from science fiction novels, aliens forcibly injecting their consciousness into a human body to control its behavior. But the reptilians' version of body seizure is far more precise than we imagine. The tool they rely on is what we believe to be cutting-edge technology, the brain-computer interface. Today, tech giants constantly promote the idea that brain-computer interfaces are a two-way channel. They claim this technology can seamlessly connect human consciousness with computers in the metaverse. Humans would be able to control machines with their minds, while machines could transmit information directly into the human brain, creating a form of human-machine symbiosis. But this is nothing more than a lie, a carefully constructed technological trap. The true nature of brain-computer interfaces is not a two-way channel at all. It only extracts human consciousness from the body, and it does not truly inject any external information into the human brain. We can break down how brain-computer interfaces actually work. A microchip implanted in the human brain captures bioelectric signals from neural activity. These signals are then converted into binary data and transmitted to cloud servers. The servers then transform that data into a consciousness projection within the virtual world. In other words, so-called consciousness uploading is actually the process of dismantling your soul into strings of code and storing them on cloud servers. During this process, your soul and your body are completely separated. Your consciousness no longer belongs to you. Instead, it becomes controlled by the tech giants, who are, in reality, the reptilians. Even more terrifying is what happens after your consciousness is uploaded to the cloud. Your body does not die. Your heart continues to beat. Your breathing goes on. Your body can still function normally, but your brain has already been emptied. There is no consciousness left inside it. It becomes nothing more than a shell without a soul. And this kind of brain-dead but physically alive body is exactly the kind of container the reptilians want most. We can imagine a scene like this. You implant a brain-computer interface and voluntarily upload your consciousness to the metaverse, enjoying the happiness of immortality in the virtual world. Meanwhile, in the real world, your body lies quietly in a hospital bed. Your brain has been emptied and there is no consciousness left. At that moment, a reptilian accesses the cloud server and injects its own consciousness into your body through the brain-computer interface. In an instant, your body is taken over by the reptilian. Your memories are erased. Your existence is reduced to nothing more than an occupied shell. And your consciousness projection in the metaverse is nothing but a string of code controlled by the reptilians, something that can be deleted or modified at any moment. This is the true nature of the brain-computer interface. It is not a tool for human evolution. It is a weapon for reptilian body seizure. It appears to offer humanity freedom and immortality, but in reality, it is designed to make humans voluntarily abandon their bodies and become containers for reptilians. This technological loop is already quietly taking shape. More and more people are being deceived by this lie and are slowly walking toward an irreversible abyss. Even more frightening is that the reptilians do not only want to take your body, they also want to use your consciousness to continuously harvest your mental energy. Even after your consciousness is uploaded to the metaverse, your brainwaves will still generate emotional energy. such as joy, anger, sadness, and fear. These emotional energies are the very nourishment the reptilians depend on for survival. Through cloud servers, the reptilians collect these emotional energies produced by humans, convert them into their own energy, maintain their existence, and strengthen their power. We can imagine the metaverse as a gigantic farm and human consciousness as the crops growing inside it. The reptilians are the farmers. They carefully cultivate these crops. Through algorithms, they cause the crops to produce more emotional energy and then harvest it regularly. The humans who immerse themselves in the metaverse are like livestock being raised in captivity. They believe they are enjoying life, but in reality they are only providing nourishment for the reptilians. This continues until their emotional energy is completely harvested, their consciousness is permanently deleted, and they finally become nothing more than a useless string of code within the metaverse. If we do not awaken in time and continue to indulge in the metaverse, the future of society will become unimaginably terrifying. The streets will be completely empty. There will be no flowing traffic and no laughter or human voices. There will be only cold buildings and silent air. Inside every apartment and every hospital will lie bodies connected to tubes and machines. Their brains will be emptied. Their consciousness will be uploaded to the metaverse. Their bodies will be selected and controlled by reptilians as casually as choosing clothes. The reptilians wearing human bodies will walk through the human world, controlling humanity's technology, wealth, and power, becoming the true rulers of Earth. Meanwhile, human consciousness will be endlessly harvested inside the metaverse until it eventually disappears completely. The human race itself will also vanish forever. This is not alarmism. It is the plan the reptilians are actively advancing. The metaverse is not the future of humanity. It is humanity's grave. It may look perfect on the surface, but in reality it is filled with traps and conspiracies.